is my face?
You've been out in the lights, queued up in the line, drinking a Sprite, you're wasting time.
Toronto artist Allie has returned for their third studio album, Girl with No Face. I've been listening to Allie now for some time. I think the first thing I listened to was her Collection 2 album that was released in 2017. And although I have enjoyed some of her music, I haven't really gravitated to it all that much. It seems to just sort of like exist in the background. And I think part of that is because I can sense some sort of like, I don't know, she has an aesthetic about her that I always was like, oh, that's interesting. But it just never seemed to like translate to the music that she was making. That just sort of felt flat to me. Not like so bad that I, put her in my head as someone who was bad at making music. But like, I just sort of was like, oh, I'm aware that she exists. I kind of like feel like I should enjoy her music, but I wasn't really enjoying it. And I have to say, that has changed with this album. This is a pretty incredible album, Girl with No Face. The first thing worth noting is how the sound on this album is much more, it's different than her previous albums, but also just much more dancey. This feels like a very 80s pop-oriented album with elements of new wave, disco. There's even some goth moments on this project, and it just reminds me of those videos that you see from the 80s of the people wearing like the leotards and like the headbands, and they're like, aerobics exercise classes. This album feels like that, but like in a dystopian or goth-like setting where things are dying all around us. And that sounds weird, but listen to it and maybe you will feel the same thing. I also should note that, like, in many ways, this album is derivative of that 80s sound. Like, it borrows a lot from it to the extent that I think that a lot of these songs sound vaguely familiar. So, for example, the song and opening track, Weird World, sounds like Bonnie Tyler's trying to hold out for, or holding out for a hero. That's how... I don't know why I couldn't get that out of my head. Holding out for a hero, like, I need a hero! Bum, bum, bum. That song. It sounds reminiscent to that. The song Galena feels like a 90s Madonna song, like Secret. Even the song John and Jonathan reminds me slightly of Rasputin by Boney M. So there's a lot of references here musically, but also in the lyrics, we get references to Talk Talk, who's one of my favorite 80s bands. But we also get a reference to Stereolab in the song Hardware Software, and Stereolab is also an incredible 90s pop band. So yeah, you could definitely feel the musical influences on this album, but that being said, it still sounds fresh and unique, even though it is very derivative, and I can really appreciate about that, because it's not, I can imagine like doing this kind of 80s copy and it just sounding too much like the copy, but it sounds very Allie, which in a way, I don't know, her previous albums didn't capture that essence. I should also say this album deals with a lot of themes having to do with identity, even given the name of the album, right? Girl with No Face. And so I wonder if part of the reason why I feel this disconnect between her previous work and this work is because Allie was still trying to figure herself out. And maybe on this album, she is still in that process, but the process has become way more apparent, even in the lyrics, where, she's dealing with her own fame in songs like Staying Power and Slept on Me, which seems to be a reference to the fact that people have slept on her music. So yeah, don't sleep on this one. But like this, there's a big general theme throughout this album of not getting knocked down, taking the blows from life and society and still continuing. But like, this is also done like think about this, because like there's a sense of overcoming, but in order to overcome, shit needs to be happening. So like a lot of the background of the music is about how like the state of the world is kind of fucked up. So like even in the opening track, Weird World is all about how like the world is falling apart, everything is dying, technology is weird. We get like technology being weird also on the track Hardware and Software. Yeah, and like there's also elements of objectification and body dysmorphia of the song Off With Her Tits obviously is about the fact that like women get objectified at a very young age, and how there's this feeling of just like wanting to like remove that part of you so that you don't become this object of the male gaze. And yeah, I mean like, and those themes are prevalent throughout the album. But there is also this sense of like, even though that's happening, you're overcoming it. So you get songs like Black Eye, The Closer, Truly Dreams, which all sort of like fight against this like onslaught of society, and also like fighting. I wanted to say the music industry, but it's more like fighting the fact that like she couldn't get a foothold. Yet she seems to be making inroads now. I think a lot of people right now are starting to pay attention to Allie X. So who knows? Maybe her next album will be like, see, I fought back and I won to some degree. So that's nice. I do have to say, there are some great lines, though, throughout the album. And my favorite is on the track Staying Power, where... she opens that song by saying, I don't have a face that makes your grandma want to smile. And I love that line. But then she also says, I don't sing for straight men because they just ruin the world. And yeah, I agree. Like this whole like powerful fighting the system, everything's dying, and let's fight back against the people who ruined everything. I love that theme. Now, it doesn't always pay off. I think most of the album is good. I feel like a few of the songs come a bit short. The title track, even, Girl With No Face, is probably one of my least favorite here. The song John and Jonathan, although dancey and fun, just seems like out of place in the context of the rest of the album. It's her reflecting on two fans who are very successful and gay, and I'm not sure what the point is largely, but it still is a fun song. Hardware Software is one of the more like harder songs to get into. It does fit the album. It's just the most like abstract and weird song of the bunch, but I still enjoy it. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of neat experimentation going on with that track that didn't necessarily come through as well as it could have. But I love that she's trying to do this kind of song. And yeah, Saddest Smile was another one that was just a bit of a snoozer to me. But overall, like the songs that are good are fantastic. You got Weird World, Off With Her Tits, Galena, Black Eye, You Slept On Me, Staying Power, and again, Truly Dreams, which is the ender and probably my favorite song here. It is just an incredible way to wrap up this album about how, if you keep trying, you will succeed in the end. And what a positive message, even though there are a lot of dark themes on this album. Don't... As she says on her song, don't sleep on this one. So I would give this a 8 out of 10. Yes. Check it out. Not snoozing on this one.